One of the most fundamental acts of being a human, you get up off the ground. And this simple act is the basis for one of the most legendary exercises out there, something called the Turkish Getup. So with the Turkish Getup, in very broad strokes, all you're gonna do, you're gonna hold a load, and it can be any load that we want, in one arm, and our job is to get from a lying position with that load to a standing position and then back down to the ground. And in the process of that, we're gonna get to do a variety of different things. We're gonna demonstrate, and that is a very particular word I'm using. I'm not saying we're gonna train, instead we're going to demonstrate a variety of qualities. We're gonna get a lot of shoulder stability in there. We're gonna really challenge our core, and we're gonna showcase a whole ton of total body strength while moving in multiple planes as well. So this winds up being a great functional move that again has us doing that basic idea of getting up off the ground. So who is the Turkish Getup best for? Everybody, as I said, should be able to do it, but it definitely helps you if you're not somebody who's a regular gym goer, if you are somebody who's a little bit older, if you're somebody who doesn't want to get into that side of fitness and really build a ton of muscle and a ton of strength. Understanding the Turkish Getup is going to teach you a lot about yourself. It might reveal a couple of injuries to you, and it might reveal a couple areas where you're not strong that you should really work on strengthening. Think of this as a testing move, and think of it as something where you can get off of this video, you can try it, and you're gonna learn a lot about yourself. If you are a little bit more familiar with the gym, if you're kind of starting out on your strength journey, then the Turkish Getup holds a different place for you, and it can kind of fit into your workout in a variety of different ways, and it can be something that you can regularly come back to test yourself and to show where you are in terms of your fitness. When we look at the muscles that the Turkish Getup is training, technically it is training everything, because it's going to require your entire body, from your legs to your abs, to your chest, to your back muscles. Our shoulders, our arms wind up very involved, and our grip strength is even tested when we're holding a kettlebell or a dumbbell or any load overhead. So we're gonna get a total body benefit, and every muscle is working. We're also gonna get to work our core in multiple planes when we're working through the Turkish Getup. Think of the Turkish Getup not as a move that's going to, say, build your chest or build your shoulders or build your legs or build anything in that traditional muscle and strength building sense, but it winds up being something that tests our stabilizing muscles throughout and tests every muscle in our body during the period where we're going from the ground to that standing position. So while the Turkish Getup essentially has us lying on the ground and then standing up, it is not necessarily as simple as that. There are multiple implements that we can use for the Turkish Getup. My favorite for this is a kettlebell, so that's what we're going to use today. And I'm literally just going to step you through the process that we use when we're doing the Getup. So we're going to start from this lying position, and this is a very particular position. We want to get the bell straight up, and as you're doing the Turkish Getup, you want to be very particular to never take your eye off the bell, but watch it the entire time. I'm going to curl my wrist a little bit. I want to make sure that my joints are stacked, so my wrist, my elbow, and my shoulder are all stacked, and we're going to try to keep that for the entire duration of the rep. From there, my same side leg is bent, and I'm driving my heel into the ground on the side where I have the bell up, and then I'm gonna plant my hand aggressively into the ground. I'm really gonna try to grip the ground with my palm. I'm gonna drive this foot into the ground as well. Make sure that your foot is not in direct line with your torso, but get it out a little bit to the side. It's gonna lend you stability, and that's gonna help if you wind up going a little bit heavier in the Turkish Getup. From there, we're gonna step right through this Getup. So it's a variety of steps, and you wanna be methodical. Take this nice and slow when you do it. I'm gonna think about driving up and across my body, and then I'm going to get onto my elbow. Again, I'm still trying to maintain that nice tight angle. My wrist, elbow, and shoulders stay stacked, and I'm still watching the bell. From there, I get a little bit more core strength. Drive up using my hand. I'm squeezing my shoulder blades as I'm doing this. Now I've gone from my elbow to my hand. Now I'm going to squeeze my glutes, continue to watch that bell, drive up. So now I'm a little bit taller. I'm squeezing my shoulder blades in this position, and now I'm trying to stack my upper wrist, elbow, and shoulder, and my lower wrist, elbow, and shoulder in one line. From there comes one of the best parts. I'm gonna thread my back leg through, and now I'm in this kneeling position, still watching that bell, still squeezing my shoulder blades, and now we get a big core moment here into this half kneeling position. takes a ton of oblique strength from there, and then I'm gonna straighten this leg so that I can get into a lunge position. All I'm gonna do is stand up. That is half of the Turkish Getup. Then from that point, we're going to slowly get back down to the ground, still never taking our eye off the bell, and all we're gonna do is reverse all of the steps that we did, nice and slowly. As we go back down to the ground, it winds up being a nice eccentric test for our entire body. So that is the Turkish Getup. And again, it's a very slow and methodical motion, so this isn't the kind of thing where we're gonna pile up a ton of reps. It's the kind of thing where we're being attentive to each step, keeping our eye on the bell, continuing to create tension, and continuing to drive whatever load we have up as high as we can, keep our core nice and tight, and keep ourselves strong. And it winds up being a very, very taxing move. It winds up being something you can do in a lot of workouts. So that is the Turkish Getup, and we did it today with my favorite implement, the kettlebell. The reason I like the kettlebell is because of the nature of the kettlebell and where it's driving the resistance. It's gonna put your shoulder in a really safe position. It's gonna make this that much more of an impactful move from a shoulder health perspective. But the truth is, you can do a Getup with a variety of implements. You can do this with dumbbells and you can do this with barbells, because you can also load this exercise up. And as you get better, your goal, a good goal to work up to, is doing a Turkish Getup with at least half of your body weight. It will wind up being challenging, but it is something that you're capable of as you build that foundational strength and as you build that fundamental strength and comfort with the move. We also don't need to use any load at all, and we can play with some other ideas. We can take a kettlebell, for example, and turn it upside down. That's a bottoms up Turkish Getup, and that's gonna challenge your shoulder stability even more. Or we could even take something as simple as a water bottle, and this is something you can do if you're ever at a party and you want to impress a bunch of fitness friends. We can take that water bottle, leave it open, leave it on our fist or in our palm without gripping it, and then your goal is to complete the Getup without dropping the water bottle. Again, another different test of shoulder stability, less because of resistance and more because of the complete stability you have to showcase. So there are a variety of implements that you can use, and we can also just do this with body weight, because remember, the fundamental thing we're learning with the Turkish Getup is how to get up from a lying position into a standing position. That is something every single human should be able to use. The best way to use the Turkish Getup, and the way that I would recommend you use it, is as an assessment tool. So in that situation, what you're gonna do the Turkish Getup maybe once or twice a month, and your goal as you do the Turkish Getup is to complete it and see the points where you are not particularly strong in the Turkish Getup. That may be during the windmill portion of the move as we're moving into that lunge position. It may be going from that lunge position to a standing position, or it may be the very start of the Turkish Getup where you're having trouble getting your core fully activated and being strong from that position. But very often there are one or two positions within the Getup, as opposed to the whole move, there are one or two positions in the Getup that you're gonna wanna take and you're gonna wanna perfect. Once you understand those areas, focus on those areas in your training and do reps of only that step. Say 3 sets of 8 to 10 on each side for the step that you're struggling with. And then you're gonna build the muscle, you're gonna get the comfort that you need with that portion of movement, and you're gonna build a stronger mind-muscle connection. And then in a month later, you can come back and test the Turkish Getup again and see if you've gotten stronger. So that's one way that you can use the Turkish Getup, and that to me is the best way for you to use the Getup in your workouts. If, however, you really, really want to do this all the time, remember that it's a move that's going to touch everything, but it's not really going to build a ton of strength, and it's not going to build a ton of muscle. So where does that fit in our workouts? It fits in your warm-up best. You can do, say, 3 to 5 reps on each side, do 3 sets at a moderate weight, or even take that a little bit heavier. You're gonna wind up firing up your entire CNS, and you've touched all those stabilizing muscles that you might wanna warm up. So that's another way that you can effectively use the Turkish Getup. Or if you really, really wanna train it, if you have to absolutely have it in your workouts, remember that you're not gonna get a whole ton of muscle building benefit out of it. But if you absolutely absolutely want to do the Turkish Getup within your training, then choose a challenging weight and do say 3 to 5 reps on each side, do 3 sets. You will have touched all the muscles in your body, which again is the strength of the Turkish Getup, and you'll get that Getup fix. So the Getup has a place in everyone's workout. Try one of those 3 approaches to see how it fits for you. Your body will wind up feeling great, and again, you work that great fundamental idea that we all gotta know: you get up off the ground every single time you do the Getup.